Hi Flosstube, this is Diane, the Be a Blessing Stitcher. Today's January 26th, Sunday, and it is Flosstube number 20, I think. I'll double check that. Welcome to everybody who's joining me today. I appreciate all of my subscribers, everybody who comes back and watches me time and again, and welcome to anybody new that has happened to land here. I'm so thankful that you're all here, and I'm excited to share with you what I've been doing, but also today is going to be a WIP Parade. So I didn't get around to doing it around the first of the year like everyone else did. And if you've been with me for any amount of time, you know that I've been avoiding counting my WIPs. Well, I still don't have an exact number, but I have a pretty general idea. I pulled everything out. There's a couple of them that I'm going to do restarts on. And it wasn't as bad as I thought, but I'm going to show those to you today. But first I wanted to start quickly with what I have been up to. Quick little update first on what's going on. The reason I didn't get to you any quicker is I had COVID again for the fourth time. And this time it got me pretty good. I don't have typical COVID symptoms. When I get it, I get so much pressure in my head, horrendous headache. I get extreme fatigue. I get dizzy and nauseated and just really wipes me out so that I'm not really functioning. And so I had it for about a week, definitely doing better. I actually was able to go out and about a little bit yesterday and it felt good, although I had to sit and take a little rest after I got home, just because, you know, when you're down for a week, you lose all your strength, all your endurance. And so I'm going to have to slowly build that back up again. Also, my poor little puppy, she's not around at the moment. She went in for what we thought was just going to be a teeth cleaning, and there was a tooth that had broken off that they were going to extract for her. We've done that procedure before for her, and she's always tolerated it well. This time not. When they put her under, she stopped breathing. Actually, she stopped twice, and her heart rate went scary high for about 30 seconds. So the doctor decided to just do the cleaning and not attempt the extraction. And they probably won't do it locally here anymore. If we need to have that tooth pulled, I'm going to probably have to go to a specialty clinic in order to have that done, just because they have different tools available, different medications and anesthesia that they can use. But it's now become a case where, is it necessary, and is she more at risk by putting her under to do the surgery, or is she more at risk in just leaving it? So we're going to monitor it for a while, and we're going to see how she's doing. If she gets uncomfortable or if it becomes painful, of course we're going to have to do something. So we'll see. But anyway, that's all my news for what's been going on lately. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. I don't remember, I think I saw you after Christmas briefly. But I also just wanted to express my thoughts and my prayers for everybody in our country right now who is going through so much turmoil. We have had the incredible hurricanes in Florida and North Carolina, and now we have these devastating fires in California. My thoughts and my prayers are with them. There's just no words. And I don't know what else to say, except if you can find a way to support them in a small or a big way, whatever your means allow, I encourage you to do that. It takes a village, and we need to help each other, right? We need to help each other. So anyway, let's get into what I have been working on. I think I'm going to have to probably stop and start a little bit just while I reach, because I have stuff setting all around me, like all around me here. And I'm going to have to stretch my legs at some point because I'm old and I'm sitting on the floor. So I'm going to reach for my stuff and I'll be right back with what I've been working on. Okay, I tried really hard to be organized this time, guys. So first of all, I had several finishes. I've been wanting to do a small Valentine heart type of a stitch for a specific area in my house, and I really have gotten into kind of a prim. Sometimes I like prim, sometimes not. I kind of really fluctuate. I have a very eclectic kind of a decorating style, I think. So anyway, I went and found this stitch, which is called Count the Hearts by Primitive Stitching. And this is a terrible, terrible picture. But I thought that was really kind of pretty. It has a little sampler, so it also could serve as my blessing sampler, which I had no intention of doing. But when I saw this, I thought, oh, I can easily get that done in a short period of time. So here is my finish. And as you can see, I just pulled it off of the hoop not too long ago, and I haven't ironed or anything yet. I'm struggling a little bit with how to finish it to get it to be the size that I want, and trying to figure out what color to put behind it. So I did mess with it a little bit yesterday, but nothing really just jumped out at me and said, yeah, that's what you need to do. So that one's still cooking on the back burner. So that's one finish. And then I decided I wanted to stitch my sheep virtues, which I've had for a while. And I decided to start with love because Valentine's is coming up. And so I got my first one with love done. And I did change the colors a bit. The colors that were called for were very golden, very avocado green, and I wanted it just a little bit brighter because I probably am not going to display these in the winter. My guess is I'll probably display these more in the spring and in the summer, more than anything else. And so then the next one I jumped into was Hope. And I got Hope done, and I liked that one because it had the snowflake on it, so that's appropriate for now, for this time of the year. So I have 2 of those done. I'm thinking I'm gonna get about 5 or 6 of them done before I attempt to finish. I don't have any fabric in my stash that goes with, of course, the colors that I chose. I thought my green was pretty, like a spring green, but when I started looking at my fabrics, it's actually got a little bit of blue in it, so it's a little hard to match. So I'm gonna have to take them with me to a fabric store, and I'm gonna have to see if I can find something that will work for those. Those are by Little House Needleworks, and I think there's like 10 or 12 of those. They're all individual patterns. They do come with buttons, and they're stitched on 32 count. Oh, I forgot to say my fabric and my counts. So this one is stitched on, let me get my card out. These are stitched on 32 count Lugana in light taupe. And so the whites really do show up quite nicely on that. That's just, that's actually the color is not white. I used 3/8, let me get my colors out because, yeah, I just didn't care a lot. 3/865 is the white that I used. And I kind of jumped off some of the colors that they gave me, but I changed my greens up and I changed my browns up to something that I liked a little bit better. So there's my colorway. If you guys are interested in my colors, let me know. I'll be happy to either post them or send them to you. But I plan to do all of them in kind of the same color family. So I am changing colors randomly as I go, as I stitch them. Sometimes I can't tell until I put the stitches in and I go, no, I don't like that, and I end up ripping it back out. This first one that I stitched, forgot to tell you the fabric. This is on 40 count, Forbidden Fiber Co. I think it's called Bungalow. It's the same one I did my Hark the Herald Angels Sing in by Forbidden Fiber Co. So I think it's called Bungalow. And it has a little bit of a grayer background, which I didn't realize when I grabbed it. And so I'm finding that grayer colors are actually working a little bit better maybe for my finish on that one. And then I worked on, these were all kind of goals that I set for myself. These were patterns that have been in my stash for a while, and I really just wanted to move forward on them and get a little bit of work done on them. So the next one that I've been working on is a year of celebration seasons 2 by Hands on Design. This one is done on 32 count platinum, and I'm using Kimberly's Conversion Thread Pack by Fat Quarter Shop. And that information is in their blog if you want it. If you need a link, I can probably try to find it for you. I know I did have to struggle a little bit for that one. And so I got January done. And these are super cute. I now have January, I have March, I have January, March, August, September, and I did stitch October's, but I'm going to have to restitch it because when I first started this series, Wasn't sure how I was going to finish them, and since then I found the box that I want to put them in, that I can just pop them in and out of, and the first one isn't finished where I can do that. I frayed the edges. I was kind of thinking I was going to put them on like a clipboard-ish type thing, and so it's not going to work. So I'm going to have to restitch that one. So I have quite a few to go yet. They really don't take that long, but there's a lot of thread color changes in it. So that's the other one that I've been trying to push forward on, my Sheep Virtues and my Year of Celebrations. So that's two of the things that I worked on. And then I wanted to work on, oh, and then let's talk about my next little crazy thing. I have had this picture in my head for a while of something that I wanted to stitch, but there was no pattern for it. I kept thinking that would be really cute. And actually what threw my thoughts that way were this church and these trees that I have here. And I first started to try to design a church, and that was going nowhere really fast for me. And I ended up with just this super simple little stitch that I call Little Country Cabin. I stitched it myself. Sorry about the glare on that a little bit. Let's see if we can get away from the glare. Not very well. So it's just a little teeny tiny stitch. It's just a little freebie that I created. I did post it on Instagram. So you can find it under my account on Instagram if you want just an image. If you want a PDF, I did put it into a Patreon account just because that was a free way of creating a PDF for you guys if you prefer to have a PDF. Some people would prefer to import it. So there's a PDF under my Patreon account, which is I think just under b.a.blessingstitcher, just my normal tag. So if you are interested in that one, feel free. That one's just a little freebie. I'm not starting a designing anything, but it's something that I like to play around with every once in a while when I'm just bored or when I just need to try something different or even just to clear my head from stitching. It's just something fun to do. And then the next thing I started with my friends from Loose Thread Stitchers, Jeannie and Leanne, and I also started it with my friend Mary Beth, and we decided to do a Hawk Run Hollow pattern. Jeannie has chosen the Farms of Hawk Run Hollow, and Leanne has chosen, is it Autumn? Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow, I believe. And both Mary Beth and I are doing Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow. I'm only going to be doing the top 9 squares. I'm not going to do the bottom 3, I don't think. And Mary Beth might only do just the words, so she might only do 6 squares. That's kind of what she was thinking, but she's not sure yet either. So I started it thinking, oh, this is going to take me years and years and years, and it will probably, but I ended up having so much fun with it. I just kind of started rocking and rolling on it, and this is where I'm at so far. And I've changed a few of the colors out. A lot of them are the called for, but if I ran across a color I just didn't like, I changed it. For instance, this house was kind of done in a light brick color that almost looked a little bit pink to me. And then I saw like somebody that had done a silk one and it looked more yellow brown to me. And I thought that looked warmer, so I changed it. I just picked out another color that I thought looked similar, and I changed it to kind of a caramel-y color. So that's this is being stitched on 40 count Lakeside linen. It was one I picked up off of a de-stash site, and I think it's called Vintage Wood Smoke, something like that. But I doubt that anybody's going to be able to find it, but it is really it's a lovely shade. It shows the colors really, really well. So I'm having a ball stitching on that one. And then the only other one I worked on was, I'm trying to gather up all my loose threads because I am naughty with my threads. I tend to like leave them hanging everywhere. Was my Hometown Mystery Sal from Teresa Kogut. I don't think I have an updated picture of that one. What did I do with that one? I thought I had that bag sitting here, but I do not. I'm gonna probably run across it later. But this is my progress so far. So this particular round, I finished out my barn here, and I did all of these houses across here. There is another whole row that she has released and then another square down here at the bottom. So I'm behind. I'm definitely behind. And I'm okay with that. I am really enjoying it. It is a super fun stitch. And when I get started on it, it's hard to put it down and move on to something else. But I have other things I want to work on, and so I didn't want to get too obsessed with it. And so when I got to the end-ish of that house on that row, I'm like, I think that's a good stopping place for now. Okay, I think that's all I have for my current WIPs that I've worked on over the last little bit. So now I think we're gonna start the WIP Parade, and I'm gonna pause so I can kind of rock and roll and reload here. So I did actually find my last picture and my bag with my hometown, but it really doesn't show much. It shows, this is the row I'm just finishing, but she has since released this entire row, and then I think also this square as well. So it gives you an idea of how far we are on it and how far behind I am. I'm also not really putting any of the words on mine yet. I plan to customize mine with all stores, shops that I grew up with. So I'm gonna do that later. I am stitching that one on Up in the Attic by Fox and Rabbit on 36 count. And I am doing all of the called for colors on that one. So I'm sorry I forgot to provide that information. I'm really terrible with that one. I think I forgot to tell you too on, no, I did tell you what I was doing for the Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow. Here is my season's year celebration. I forgot to show you that pattern. And it just shows you all of them. So it's kind of dark. So you can see that the colors in mine were quite a bit different, brighter maybe. I really do enjoy the conversion. And if you want to see the whole thing done, Nicole Spohr did hers all on one piece, and she did it with the conversion. She's kind of been the inspiration behind me getting started with it. When I saw her stitching on that, I thought it was beautiful. So if you want to see all of the conversion done from Fat Quarter Shop, you could go there and she could show you all of the different ones. Okay, then I think we are going to jump in and start doing my WIP Parade. Thought I had gotten myself organized, but I just made myself a bigger mess. I wanted to talk quickly before I get started about Anniversaries of the Heart. I was going to jump into that one and kind of start doing that with my friend Mary Beth. It has not come together in my head. I can't make it work yet. So rather than push into it and start it and not like what I'm doing, I decided to push pause on that one. And it's starting to slowly form. So I won't say I won't start it this year, but for right now, I need to get a better plan in place. I have to figure out if I want to do certain squares for family members or if I want to do a portion of it. I've seen some really beautiful stitches where they did them all on one, but they only did a few of the blocks. They didn't do all of them. So that one is still percolating. I'm not ready to start that one yet. I think I'll start with the ones that I have on a scroll rod. This one I shared with you not too long ago. This is my Haid. This is my Poodle in the Rain. And I haven't worked on this one yet. However, I'll talk about this more at the very end too, but in my plans, or maybe this is as good a time as any, I had decided to be kind of loose with my plans this year, but the more I started thinking about it, the more I thought I've got to have some kind of an idea each month of what I'm gonna do if I wanna make progress on anything. So I can't remember which Flosstuber I was watching, but she talked about how she would pull 4 or 5 projects out each month and just try to put some threads into those each month. So that's kind of what I've decided to do. I'm gonna pull 4 or 5 projects each month and try to work on them a little bit. And this one is gonna get worked on this week. I'm going to be pulling this one out next. The last one on my list for this month, which probably isn't going to get started, was going to be a dimensions kit. I wanted to put some threads into one of my dimensions kits, but that can happen in the near future too. That can happen the 1st of February. I have not made any new progress on this Poodles in the Park. Let me move my needle minder over so you can kind of see. I've got threads pulled off to the side because I'm starting to park them. The reason I don't think I've made any progress on it is because this one has been confusing. I've never done a full coverage like that before, and I was just trying to work out a system so I wouldn't get lost, because it started out with solid confetti. So I'm trying not to get myself too lost on it. And that's gonna be my next step. I'm gonna pull it out and I'm gonna see once where I'm at, what I need to do next, how to keep myself from losing my place. So that one hopefully is gonna get tackled this week. The next one that's on a scroll rod is Stacy Nash's Gingerbread House Sewing Book. I have only worked on the front of it. I have not gotten any farther on it. This is what I was working on when I lost my little bit of stitchy mojo. So he's in the doghouse a little bit. Not really the doghouse. It really had nothing to do with the stitch at all. But as you can imagine, since that's what I was working on when I got burnt out, it's like it's the last thing I want to pick up again right now. So, but it will get done. That one I'm working on, it's on the called for fabric, which was Ween Beans, I believe, by Needle Bling Designs, and it was in 36 count. I had gotten the kit, and this is what came with the kit. I'm kind of whipping through these pretty fast, guys, so I apologize if I missed something kind of important. The next one that I have on a scroll rod is Winter Rose Manor. I'm sure you've seen this one done many, many times. I love this one. My friend Beth just finished hers, so I'm so jealous that she got farther than I did. And it makes me want to jump in and get mine. I'm doing this one on 40 count Dusty Road by Seraphim, and I am doing all the called for colors. And this is my progress on it. This is where I'm at. So I'm doing the house. Working up from the house, there's a big basket of flowers on the top of the house. And then I'm actually pretty close. I have a little bit of finishing to do with some of the roses down here in the border and up along the side, but I'm actually pretty close. If I really buckled down, I could probably finish this one in a few months. I'm not gonna say in a month because of what I'm thinking I'm gonna be doing on it. I don't see myself pushing that hard on any one project unless I get into it and just really am enjoying it. I probably won't get it that far. The other one that's in this Project Keeper is My Sister's Sampler by Richardson. It's by my sister's samplers, and it's called Ann Richardson. This was Carrie Tiger Lily's birthday start, I think it was last year. And it was offered with Vicki Clayton Silks. She was doing a discount for Carrie on the silks, and so I did purchase those as well. It was my first opportunity to work with silks. And I'm in Carrie's Keeper Club, and so in one of hers, she gave these beautiful floss drops. They're so pretty. They look they're kind of a bluish teal color, but almost like mother of pearl. And then these are the silks, and oh my goodness, they are fabulous. And then the fabric I'm doing this one on is not written down. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I guess we have a really large piece of mystery fabric. Is this even it? Oh yeah. Wow, it's a huge piece. Is it on here? Oh, yay, it's actually still on here. This is Prairie Grass, 40 count by Seraphim. Whew, saved by a tag. And this is all the progress I've made on that. It really was fun stitching it, but I squirreled. And I found some other things that were more exciting at the moment for me to start. Jumped into those as we do. I really need to update my card on that one so I don't completely lose out, or in case I lose that tag. If anybody is counting my WIPs, let me know how many I have. Okay, then another one I'm working on is Rejoice Evermore. I started this one for my friend Beth, the Red Cross Stitcher. I started it for her birthday last year. And this one is being stitched on, I can't get my card. antique lace in 40 count. 40 count is kind of my sweet spot anymore. And I'm doing the called for colors. And that's my progress. You can't see it, but I do have the whole outside border done. Not with all the roses on it, but I have the outline edges done so I know it matches up, which for me that's always a little bit important. So that's my progress on that one. And did I show you the pattern? Getting out of order. Here's the pattern on it. This is by Brenda Gervais, Rejoice Evermore, and I'm sure you've seen this one around before too. It really is beautiful. So beautiful. The colors, I think that's what she really specializes in. Her colors are just so gorgeous together. So, so pretty. Okay. And I don't have my bag for this one. When I come across that one, we'll address that. The next one I have is the Smith Sampler. This one is by the Scarlet House. And this one I started with Diane. Oh, Diane, what is your last name? I follow her on Instagram. She's a good friend of, I think of Sarah W, Handmade by Sarah W. And so I followed Sarah and I ran across this one. She was starting this on her birthday and I thought it was so pretty. I fell in love with the colors on the cover. And I tried to do a conversion with Roxy Floss Co. Didn't love it. And so then I just started willy-nilly pulling out my own colors. And so far I've been really kind of happy with them. But I'm actually pulling colors that I think blend and match the cover. And so sometimes I put something in and then I pull it back out and then I put it back in and pull it back out. I've gotten enough done so that I'm pretty much finished with the top row. So I'm hoping there won't be a ton more color selections that need to be made. I'm hoping that I've used most of the colors now that I need to. This one has a really intense border. The border is, you can see it over on this side a little bit. They're filled in. Each one of these triangles is filled in with multiple colors. So there's a lot of color changes, but the colors were just so beautiful. And I just love swans. I've mentioned before that that is in my lineage. That was the last name of my grandma. So anyway, I plan to kind of do that one in her memory. And did I say what that was stitched on? I think I did. Antique lace. Oh no, this one was done flax, 40 count. Okay. And now my puppy thinks she wants attention, don't you? You come up. You say hi. I say hi. Oh, kisses. Oh, I don't want kisses. You do say hi to everybody. Oh yeah. I'm never gonna get her to look in the camera. She'll look at me. Won't ya? Yeah, but you're not going to look in the camera. Okay, so hopefully that's good enough for a little bit. Then the next one is my very oldest WIP. And I'm sorry, these are in absolutely no order because I'm not organized at all. I try really hard and I keep buying all the organization tools. Yeah, so far it hasn't really helped me. This was a dimensions kit from the Gold Collection. It's called A Gracious Era. This one is actually still available. And when I went to the Crazy Woman Retreat last September, I think it was, I sat next to a couple of girls that really encouraged me to pick it back up and work on it again. I hadn't worked on it in quite a few years. So I pulled it out and I put it in a Q-snap and I did a fair amount of work in this area. Just kind of did some of these lights. And it looks like I'm close to being done, but I'm not because there's a ton of back stitching, which I've done none of. And I got a little thing on my screen I want to get rid of. And then there's snowflakes all over it that are randomly put on. They're not charted, so I just have to go in and just manually put in a bunch of snowflakes at the end. And so I'm not close. I'm not close. But I have a couple of dimensions kits that I want to start, and I won't let myself start any until I finish at least one of my current dimensions kits, which I have a couple of. Okay, and that one was done just with all the called for that came with it. I think it was a 14 count Aida in kind of a blue gray. I'm using all the threads that came in it, and I'm really very happy with it. It's old, you guys. I started that one in the 90s, so it's old. Yeah, I'm thinking it's probably close to 30 years old. I started stitching way back when I was in my early 20s. So I started stitching in the 80s, like early 80s. I can remember stitching things for people that were in my wedding party, which was 81. So I've been stitching for a long time, and I stitched for about 10 or 15 years on and off as my kids were growing. And then in the mid 90s, I dropped off, and I just really didn't pick it up again until 2022, and was just flabbergasted by the incredible fabrics and the cool overdyed threads that were available, and just completely fell in love with it again. So, been stitching for a while. Doesn't mean I'm good at it. It just means I've been doing it a while. My next one are the Cottage Garden Samplings House Series. I am working on House 1. I just it'll be in my haul, but I recently purchased my last 2 for this series. And I saw this one, Brenda the Handwork Maniac was working on this one at the Crazy Woman Retreat, and she was sitting at my table. I just kept oohing and eyeing over it. It was gorgeous. And she shared with me her fabric, which was the called for. It's a prehistoric, I believe it was called, by Fox and Rabbit, which wasn't available anywhere. I couldn't find it. But she was so kind. She snipped off a little piece of it and gave it to me to take along. And so I could use that as I was searching for a replacement fabric. And I ended up finding 46 count platinum. She was doing hers on 46. And I remember just being amazed that she was doing it without any magnification. I can't do that. As a matter of fact, looking at this now, I can barely see it. It's pretty tiny. So I'll have to get really close. And that's all the farther I am on it. But hers was just beautiful. And so I intend to continue stitching on this one. I really don't have too many that I'm going to quit on. So I really do love that one. I'm using all the called for colors so far. Sometimes, like I said, as I'm stitching along, if a color is not working on my fabric, I may switch it out, but usually it's pretty minimal. Okay, that is the last of the things I have in scroll rods, except for my Lady of the Flag. I can't find my project bag for that one just yet. The next one is called Sky Blue Street by Soda Stitch, and had a really hard time finding a picture of this, but this is kind of what it looks like. I just thought it was adorable. Thought it would be really cute in my craft room. It really won't go anywhere else in my house, but it just looks like a fun stitch. And so I started that one. Let me see if I can find a card. Yay, I do have one. So I started that one on Antique White again, 46 count. I'm doing 1/2. I forgot to tell you that most of the time when I'm stitching on 40 or even 36 count, I'm usually doing 1/2 threads. So most of everything you've seen so far has been 1/2. Occasionally I'll do something different. Those are the ones I'm restarting. The one that I'm doing on 46 count, I am doing 1 thread over 2 also on that one. I did ask around a little bit to find out if I needed to do silks on that one at all, and they said no. They said on 46. Maybe if I had jumped up to 56, which I have no intention of doing, I don't think that would even be fun for me. Even stitching on 46 slows me down quite a bit. So yeah, most of this is going to be 1/2. So this is all the farther that I am. I haven't made a ton of progress, but it's really pretty. I think it's really pretty. And I haven't touched that one in probably a year or more. It's okay. It's okay. Here's one of the dimensions kits I want to work on this year and possibly finish. I've gotten some pretty decent progress on it. Let me see if I can find the picture. It's called Winter Farm, and it's still available. I've seen this one done by a few people. I'm using, again, all the called for on this one. I'm using the fabric and the threads. I just thought it was really cool. This is very much my style. I have kind of a log cabinish style house. It's got, it's stained and it's got like planks. It's not got siding or anything. It's got like planks on it. Finley, no, down. Sorry, hang on guys, get down. Finley, down. Thank you. And so this is my progress on it. I think I was going 6 guns on it and then something stalled me out. I saw something and I squirreled. So this is my progress so far on it. This one doesn't really require a ton of back stitching or anything. So if I devote some like weeks here and there to it, I think I can get that one done this year. So this one's on my horizon. I think this is 14 count is what this one is on. This one is, I started this one in memory of Daleen. It was one of the last things that she was working on when she passed away. And it's come into my garden by Blackbird Designs. And it was shown on her Instagram channel. And the colors were just so beautiful. But it looked really big. It is really big. And so I'm doing this one on 46 count. This is called Steinbeck. Using pretty much all the called for, but again, 46 count really stalls me out. It slows me down. Can I even find where I'm working on it? I am still just on the border, you guys. And that border is double, as you can see here. And I haven't even hardly done any of that. But I gotta tell you, there's a ton of stitches in just that amount so far. And so I kind of burned out on just doing border. So when I pick it back up, I'm gonna start on something, just so I have some momentum in going into it and so I can keep going, a little bit of motivation to kind of keep going. So I don't really have any plans to jump back into that one yet. This one's kind of along the lines of my Stacy Nash one. I don't have a huge, some of them I just don't have a huge desire yet to go back and do. Any of you guys have that? That you've got stitches that you really do like, you're just not motivated at the moment to do anything with them? Okay, this one I found on a stash site. This one is called The Doxology. And I fell in love with that when I saw it. My problem with this one is I decided to change the colors because it actually calls for greens and stuff in there. I thought this was all red, different shades of red and pink and gray. And so when I started stitching it and I found the green, I wasn't thrilled. And so started changing the colors and found that to be really difficult. So this is where I'm at. I've pulled the red out twice and I've got a grayish green going right now that I don't know that I love. And so I'm stalled. I'm stalled on the colors on this one. Just so happened that my friend Jeannie on Loose Thread Stitchers had found this one and was working on it as a Sunday stitch. She finished hers. It's gorgeous. She used all the called for colors. And so I'm rethinking whether I should just restart it and do it in the called for again, because it gives the look that I love. And I'm struggling getting that look that I want, that I thought I saw when I looked at the pattern. I'm doing it on 40 count, but it's a mystery fabric. It was just in my stash without a tag on it. So I don't know exactly what the fabric is, but I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Should I restart that one? I'm not motivated to work on it right now because I'm stumped. And so sometimes a fresh start, just simply starting over, isn't a bad idea. And then maybe I could move along. I'm just mad at myself because I had almost that whole word praise, and then I had done the green vines and stuff through it, and then I pulled it all out. So I'm kind of mad at myself that I got that far and started over. But that's our process sometimes, isn't it? Sometimes what we try doesn't work, and really that's I think part of the creative process that we go through, not everything you do is always going to be exactly the way you envisioned it. And it's okay to fail sometimes. It really is. We have to embrace that as well, because we don't get better unless we try. You have to be adventurous enough sometimes to give things a try. This next one is called Home Block Party by Hands On Design. I'm doing this one on 28 count light taupe, which is kind of the called for. This one, you kind of need that size in order to get this finish, this block finish. I loved this one because the trees kind of go up and over into the top piece. And then it's just got all little houses, which who doesn't love little houses? I am in love with little houses, big houses, houses all shapes and sizes. And I just have really the smallest of starts on this one. And I'm using the called fors. And that's all that I've done so far. It's really super, is this the back? No, this is the front. It's really super cute though, isn't it? See if I can pull some of those wrinkles out. It's really super cute. So this one I would love to pick up and start on again. When I was pulling out all of my projects, I'm like, oh, I forgot about that one. Oh, I forgot about that one. And it just makes you want to kind of go forward on a bunch again. This one I started because I was watching Stitchy Sarah Reed's on Instagram. Her channel is called Sarah's Stitchery. And this is the Robin Pickens series that she had done. I started, it's a seasonal courier. There's a spring, summer, winter, and fall and winter series. So there's 4 of them in the series. They're beautiful. They're birds. I just think the colors in there are so vibrant and beautiful, and that's not like me. I usually stitch very demure, very prim, very kind of muted colors. So this was very unlike me, but I think I started this at a really busy season and I didn't get very far. So I apologize for the ones that are just barely started, guys. Can hardly even call it a WIP. But it's got stitches in it. That counts, right? That's a WIP. Here we go. Here is my, oh no, this is my other Haid. I showed you my first one. This is the other Haid that I have, and I do really love this one too. This one's called Our Friends, and the artwork is by Terry Redlin. And it's a kind of depicts a fall scene. I just love all the different glowing amber looking lights and stuff that are shown on this one. I just love that picture. And so I have just the tiniest of starts on this one, because as I said before, having a really hard time figuring out how best to stitch these. So that's my progress. And this one I did start twice. I started it, yeah, I'm doing this tent stitch. But I didn't like the coverage with 2 over 1 on 25 count, I believe it is. Let me see if I have a card on it. No, I don't, but I remember this was the first one I ever purchased. It was a 25 count, and I thought I would do 1 full cross over 1. And I started it that way, and I did about the equal amount as to where I'm at now, and I could see through it too much because there's so much dark in this pattern. I was just seeing through it way too much, and I just was afraid I wasn't going to be happy, and there was no way I was going to put years of work into something that I could see through. So then I tried 2 over 1 tent stitch, still could see through it too much. So then I backed up and I started doing 3 over 1 tent stitch, and that I actually like. That I feel gives me a better coverage. So being a tent stitch, it should go faster, but I haven't really gotten back to it. Sometimes when you restart things, even when you finally get onto the right track, you've lost your motivation, and it's hard to jump back in and work on it again. And that's what happened with this one. And then the confetti on my other one is what stalled me out on the other one. Okay, the next one I haven't worked on for about a year as well. It's interesting what you sometimes find in your project bags. Oh, there's a couple more. Let's see. This one is Bouquet of Sunshine. This was in a book by Cross Stitch and Country Crafts by Better Homes and Gardens. This year was the July-August edition, 1992, and this is the picture of it. And I saw Molly from Linens and Scraps stitching this one. And I just thought it was so beautiful. Those sunflowers just popped out so much. I thought that was such a pretty sampler. So I jumped in on that one. Stitched like crazy until I got the border done. What am I doing this on? Do I have a card? Oh, goodness. Goodness me. I do. Oh, 46 count. I'm doing 1/2. And this is called Oat Bristle. I think this was just a Hobby Lobby type of a fabric, but look how tiny it's gonna be on 46 count. This is me. This is how big it is. It's not very big, but that's good. But this was actually the very first thing I started on 46 count. I don't know if that's gonna let you zoom in. Tiny, tiny stitches. But I do wish to continue to carry this one on 46 count. I think it's cool. I think it will be beautiful. And so that's my plan, is to keep going on this one. Let me see if I can get it put back together again and not lose any of my parts. Okay. This one is another dimensions kit. Not even remotely close to being done on this one. I'm doing this on with all the called for threads, but I did change the fabric. It had Ada that it came with. This is the picture. This one is also still available. I know I've seen it on 123 Stitch. You might even be able to find it on Amazon. It's called Birds and Berries. It's just really a pretty stitch. And I switched the fabric on this to a Grace Notes French Vanilla in a 36. And I really have, again, just the smallest of starts on this one. Just kind of the first bottom, but there's a lot of stitches in that start. Kind of working my way from left to right. And I do want to continue to work on that one. I really like it. I think it's a beautiful stitch. I have so many more, you guys. One of these times I'll do a kit parade of all my dimensions. I have so many. Not like a gazillion, but I have a bunch. But when I look at them and I think about how each one could represent years of stitching, I think I made myself stop buying them. Even though I've still been tempted by some, I just decided I have to be realistic. I'm gonna be 60, yeah. I'm in my 60s, let's put it that way. I'm in my 60s. How many years do I have left to finish all the things? Is my eyesight gonna hold up? Are my hands gonna hold up? I have to be a little bit realistic. Okay, so here's another dimensions. This one is a gold collection, but it's a petite. This is called the Toy Shop. And hello from Liz Matthews did the coordinating piece in a cell. Hers was called the Coffee Shop. As a matter of fact, Evertotes just did a 3-hour WIP Parade. You guys should really go watch it. It was kind of spectacular. And Carrie had started this, the companion piece to this one with Liz Matthews, and she's decided to give it up for adoption. And so if you go to that Flosstube and make the appropriate comment, you could have a chance to win that. So I really got quite a long ways on this one. This was one of the very first ones that I jumped back into when I began cross-stitching again. It is on 16 count fabric. I think it's on the called for. I wonder if it says that anywhere in here. Oh, it's on 18 count, but it called for 2/2. It's before I really knew a whole lot about what I was doing when I jumped back into cross stitch. Sorry, gotta stretch the legs. And so I really kind of despise my stitches on here. They look, to me, they look messy because they're so pushed together. but I'm a long way. I am really a long way. And so I should really just put pedal to metal and finish it. Just finish it. But I haven't enjoyed it as much now that I've learned a little bit more about cross stitching, because I don't like how my stitches look. But I need to. So that's another one that I could potentially get finished so I could start a new dimension kit. This one is the one that I think I'm going to restart. This is by Crochet Go. When I first saw all of her cityscapes that she does, I just loved them. So I bought them all. I don't know what I was thinking. So I bought, this is like the Christmas one. She has since done a new Christmas one, so I don't think I'll actually stitch this one anymore. I started the autumn one. So this is the one that you're gonna see. Sort of, because I really haven't done much on it. Because, crazy me, thought I could do it 1/1, because I didn't want them to be very big, and I thought I could do them 1/1 on 36 count. Sure, no problem. Look how teeny tiny. And I just think I'm going to lose all of the detail, and actually doing 1/1 with regular floss is too tight. My stitches are going to end up looking smushed like they did on that dimension kit. So I either need to back it up and do 1/1 on either 32 or 28, or I just need to do 1/2 on 36. That's a possibility. Or better yet, 40, which is my sweet spot. So that's probably, I don't have a ton started. So this one is going to be a restart. I don't think I'm going to continue that one. As a matter of fact, I'm going to keep that one out so that it doesn't just simply go back into the WIPs. So, but I think that was, it was raw linen, and I think it was just a Hobby Lobby linen. So I cut it, of course, to size, but I have more of it. That's 36 count though, so I don't know if I'm going to do it on that. But I don't mind sacrificing the little bit of fabric that I have started it on, and plus there's no way I'm going to be trying to pull out 1/1 on 36. No, not going to happen. So anyway, what I started to say with Evertote, so not Carrie, but Caroline had a fair amount of WIPs, and what she decided to do, because she hasn't gone through hers in a really long time, she decided to make kind of like a junk journal with all of her WIPs that she's going to abandon. And she's going to cut pieces out, she's going to stitch them into pages, and then put them into like a quilted type of a journal. She's gonna like have the cover be quilted and then just be able to stitch pages and stuff into the middle of it. And she's gonna put a bunch of her starts with maybe some kind of a memory as to why she kept it, like why it was important for her to not just simply abandon it and throw it away, because many of them were attached to memories. I just thought that was a really cool idea. So I'm anxious to follow along and see how she does that. She had something in her mind, a picture in her mind of what she wanted that to look like. So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, this next one, I am really far on, you guys. I made a push last year and I got close, and then I had to put it away for the season. But this is One Nation by Bygone Stitches. I am stitching this on some pretty big count because I really wanted it to go in a certain place in my house. I'm looking for a card to see if I have a little card in here. I know it's Haunted by Seraphim. Pretty sure it is 28 count. Yep, I have the card, the little card in here. And this is my progress. I made a lot of progress last summer. I don't know if I can even get back far enough for you guys to see the whole thing. Let's see. How far back do I have to go? Oh, stomach workout, leaning back. So I have the bottom yet. And I'm started on the bottom. The bottom is these little emblems. So I really have just from the bottom of the stars and across down here. like 2/3 of the bottom row is what's left. So I'm feeling like I could easily finish that this year when I start pulling out my patriotic stitches. I have loved this one. It has really been fun to work on. And so super anxious to get back to that one. You know, since I only started working on stuff again in 2022, oh, I got a lot of loose threads hanging in there. I don't have a ton of projects that have been close to being finished. I did finish Dasher and Dancer right before the end of last year, so that was a big accomplishment for me. But I've started all of the big things, of course. They take time. And when you squirrel and you start all kinds of new little things all the time, you just don't get real far. And so it will be really important to me to get a couple of bigger ones done. I'm excited to have some of the bigger ones done. So that one I'm excited for that one. This one I have not made any new progress on since you last saw it. This is another Dimensions kit. No, it's not Dimensions. I don't know if this is a Luca S. This is a Luca S kit. And when I saw it, I fell in love with all the whites and stuff and just the pretty Christmas atmosphere of it with the dogs on the couch. My son has a golden lab. It just looked cozy and beautiful. And so I started that. And I don't even really know which way is up or down. I think this is up. And I've changed colors quite a few times in there, but I started in a place of confetti. And there's nothing that will make you abandon something quicker than a little confetti or a lot of confetti. So yeah, I need to figure out how to pick that one back up and where to start maybe in order to kind of get myself to a focal point so I can figure out how to proceed forward on that one. This one I started this summer. I saw it on Jennifer, the Calculated Stitcher site. And I just saw recently that they are no longer going to be printing fabrics, which is such a shame. It's by Kanikas Prims and Whims, and the pattern is called The Little White Church. Let me see if there's a bigger picture. No, Finley, leave it. No. I think there might be a better picture inside here. So it's a cross-stitch picture over top of the fabric Amazing Grace. And Jennifer had shown it on her channel and I just had to immediately go find it. It was a challenge because it wasn't listed on their website and I had to request the fabric. And it took like maybe 6 or 8 weeks for it to come, maybe even longer. And now I just found out that they're not going to be printing the fabrics anymore. I think they'll still be selling the pattern, which looks like this. That's the pattern. So you could still do something very cool with that if you wanted to put just Amazing Grace across the top of that in words. Could still do something very cool with that. So I do apologize that this fabric is no longer available, but this was my start on this and I actually got a pretty decent start. I got that big tree done and I got part of the church. The church I was a little disappointed in because it was not easy to stitch because there's actually 2 different colors in it. And when I got it stitched, I could not see any difference in the colors. So that was a lot of work for very little bang, if you know what I mean. I don't know, can you see 2 different colors in that church? I really couldn't see them. So anyway, I'll keep going and I'll keep stitching it the way that it's called for. But was just slightly disappointed in that. And if I had known, I probably would have chosen something that had a little bit of variation in it. I can't really say that I can see that dimension in the church when I look at it. But it's a tiny little picture, so it is kind of hard to see. So I think I chose that one on a 36 count. At the time, she let me choose the fabric size, and I think I chose 36. If you want to see it done, I think Jennifer, the Calculated Stitcher, might have hers finished, but it might be on a smaller count, maybe like a 32. So anyway, I don't know if there's someplace, you know, it's possible. The Cross Stitch Express Cross Stitch Express. Cindy Sorley has a store down in, I think, the Utah area, and she does printed fabrics. And so you could check with her and see if she has anything like that if you're just smitten with this and really want to give it a try. Then I am missing my Lady of the Flag. Maybe I'll have to show it to you without the actual pattern. I started this one because one of my subscribers reached out to me who's also going through kind of her own grief journey and wanted to stitch this together. And so I started it on really beautiful fabric with a beautiful floss, but it's also just, it's not symmetrical. As you can see, the bottom is thicker and deeper than the top, which for this OCD girl, that bothers me a bit. I might back up and do this. I have just the smallest of starts on it, but I'm leaning toward doing just that top piece on it instead. I decided to do it in monochromatic, and I chose this beautiful, whoops, stuck to a magnet, this really beautiful fabric that I picked up at my local needlework store. It's ballet slippers from Fox and Rabbit, and it actually has a pinky peach-ish color to it. And then I chose to use, by Gentle Arts, Carriage Black on it. So it's got really, oh, I don't know if you can see the color very well. It's just a beautiful pinkish peach color. And so I started the top of it. But like I said, I think I'm gonna go back. Unfortunately, this doesn't work with the other pattern. And so I think I might pull this out and I might go back and just do that smaller stitch, but I'm doing it all monochromatic. I thought this was really pretty in monochromatic. So it would be, give thanks and look forward to a new day. It would just be that top section. So I think that's my plan going forward on that, but I just haven't jumped in to do it because, again, it's a restart. It would be a restart. See if I can get that back in there. I don't think I have the pattern pulled for Lady of the Flag. I will insert a picture of this pattern somewhere in here. And I haven't really worked on this one much, but this one was on Fabric Flare Design Fabric. I chose 32 count so that I could put my beads and stuff on it. And this is, I gotta think if it's called the, it's not the Constitution, it's the Amendment to the Constitution. I don't remember what it's called, but it's We the People fabric. And that's all the farther I've gotten. And the reason I haven't gotten any farther is because I've really been focusing on my One Nation by Bygone Stitches as my patriotic. And so I haven't really given this one any attention yet. But once I get that one finished, this will be my next attention grabbing one. What do I have left? I am really close, you guys. So my next one is Serenity by Teresa Kogut. I jumped on the bandwagon with everybody else last year. It is a beautiful pattern. So, so, so pretty. And I started it when I was at Stitchery Nook. Or I know I worked on it a little bit when I was at Stitchery Nook. I may have started this one with Beth, the Red Cross Stitcher. We may have done that one together. I ended up doing it on Up in the Attic by Fox and Rabbit on 40 count. And this is a pretty big girl. And I don't have very much done. I don't even have the outside border done because, like I said, it's pretty big. So then I started to focus on just that top corner, started putting in the butterfly, made a mistake, pulled it out. I got threads hanging across it. I'm sorry, you guys. Lots of threads. And I think I did it this way because I didn't have a scroll rod that was long enough. And so I would stitch as far as my hoop would go. And then I would leave the thread hanging because I knew I had to continue on in what I was doing. So once again, that's all the farther that I am. Really just a small list of starts. But definitely want to get back to it. Then I have really just 2 more to go, you guys, and I'm done. I'm not sure how much time this is. Hopefully it's not terribly long. My next one is due to Teresa Little Stitcher. She had done Evening in the Park, which is a chatelaine. This picture of the chart just doesn't do it justice. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll insert a picture of Teresa's finished one in here so you guys can get a better idea of what it will look like. She had done hers on the color Abyss from Fabrics by Stephanie. And I tried so many different ways to get the color that I thought looked the best for it. And I just couldn't get the color that I really liked until I went to Crazy Woman Retreat, and they had some fabrics there. And this one was by, let me see if I kept the fabric name. Hopefully I did. Yep, I did. It's Live and Die LA. This was her fabric, and it's called Stone Cold. And it's just this beautiful blue. And I got really just the smallest of starts in the center. I decided this one needed a center start. I don't usually do a center start, but I was able to do all the specialty stitches. Let me see if I can fold that in more. And all of the silks and everything for that center start. And did I put beads? I don't remember. No, I've got some petite braids and stuff in there. It's gorgeous, you guys. It's beautiful. So I will share Teresa Little Stitcher's, she told me she's gonna do a close-up on it on her next video. If you wanna follow her, she'll show it there too. Maybe I'll just let you do that. I feel funny pulling somebody else's picture into my video. So let me just direct you to her. She's got to finish. She finished it before the end of the year last year, but I think it took her 8 or 10 years. But it's so gorgeous. When I get that one done, that's going to be so stunning. The last one was my birthday start. I'd been wanting to do this one forever. It's Remember Me by Teresa Kogut. I thought the border on that was just amazing. And so I started it and got really obsessed with it for a while and stitched like mad. And I thought, oh, you're smoking. You're going to get this done in no time. And then I realized this huge house in the middle of the pattern. But I really am pretty far. Let me look up my notes on it of what I'm stitching on. Hopefully I have a card. I do. 40 Count Dusty Road by Seraphim. I think I've used that one a few times. I do really like that one. And this is where I'm at. So I actually got the house started. Oh, it's so pretty. And I haven't done the outside border. I wasn't gonna even do it, but the more I look at it, the more I think it needs that outside border. It just makes it harder sometimes to finish it. Sorry, needed a drink, been talking too long. It makes it harder when you have a straight line to try to line that up sometimes when you're finishing a project. And so I thought it would just be way easier to finish it if I didn't have to deal with that border. But that border just kind of puts a stamp on the whole picture, and it just makes it. So I'm actually, I would say maybe halfway on this one. Maybe not. Maybe a third. So anyway, oh, can't wait to get back to that one. That one is super fun. So back to kind of my plans. I do want to try to pick 4 or 5 stitches each month and just give them some love. And that is not going to have any rhyme or reason to it. It's just going to be 4 or 5 that I really just want to see some progress on, or that I just absolutely love and can't wait to work on them again. And I find that if I work on something for about a week or 7 days, I get sick of it and then I'm ready to switch. So I have to also build in enough time to And that can be flexible. If I'm going strong on something and I want to work on it a couple of weeks, I'm going to allow myself the ability to do that. So, but I have to also allow myself time to do smalls, because when you are working on a project that's taking years to do, it gets to be discouraging sometimes when you never get a finish. And so sometimes it's just very gratifying to have a small. As you can see, I did a bunch of smalls this month that I kind of worked in between some other things. And I want to keep up with some of those smalls, like the Sheep Virtues and the Year of Celebration 2. I want to keep up with those. And so I will still sprinkle smalls in there. There will obviously be a few new starts. I'm trying hard not to purchase a lot of new ones. I'm failing pretty miserably at that. But that's my plans going forward. And they're going to still be held somewhat loose. I want the freedom to change my mind, as we women do, right? So I'm going to jump into my haul. The first one I want to talk about is Love, Hope, Lincoln Strong. Teresa Kogut created this one for a family that is really going through a struggle right now with their son Lincoln. And she is donating the proceeds for this stitch to them. So how can you not? I encourage everybody to go buy this pattern. Teresa very seldom does PDFs. And I think the reason she says she doesn't is because they get stolen so often. But this one does happen to be a PDF, because I think she wanted to get it out there immediately to people so that we could buy it. So I encourage you guys to go grab that one. And then, like I had said earlier, I purchased the last couple of cabins in my cottage garden sampling houses. So I picked up the last two that I need to complete that stitch, even though I'm barely started with the first house. Now I have them all, and now I'm ready to go. So those are going to go into it. I was watching Bonnie, the log cabin stitcher, and she had stitched this pattern spring, and it looked so much prettier than it does just here on this particular picture. So she enabled me to go get this one, and go check out her channel because she shows her finish on it. It's really pretty. She changed the colors on the robin a little bit to really emphasize the red breast of that robin. She really wanted that to look realistic. She's very much of a prim stitcher. I love her style. So if you have a chance, go check out Log Cabin Stitcher. And she shows this one. So I purchased that one. And then, what else did I get? I didn't get a whole lot else, you guys. I tried not to. Oh yeah, as I'm going through the bottom of my pile. Been throwing things in here for a month. I was watching Olivia Pumpkin Hollow, and she had just finished Thomas. And she inspired me to go grab that one. I don't really have a lot of turkey or Thanksgiving stuff done. I loved what she did with it. Loved it. Again, the pictures just don't do them justice. They just don't. So I grabbed that one. At the Jingle Ball, I purchased this Winter Woodland Pinkeep drum by Stacy Nash. And the picture, again, doesn't do it justice. It's the cutest little reindeer. Do I have a full picture anywhere? I don't. Handmade by Sarah W. Stitched this already, and she did not put it in a drum. She stitched it as a straight piece. So if you guys would like to see what that full pattern looks like, please jump over to her channel and check out her finish on that. She's a prolific stitcher. And then Hello from Liz Matthews did these really cool finishes. I did not purchase her class, kind of wish I had, but she did these really cool stars with beads around the edges. And so I went in and I purchased her little Merry Christmas star. They're so beautiful. And I think I saw Lenny and Roberta on their channel, Sable Stitchers. I think that Roberta might have done this one. Either that or she did the Hello from Liz Matthews Jingle Ball one that she had finished, and it was really, really, really pretty. And then I was on the Stash site, which I try really hard to stay off of. And I guys have told you, I've told you about this already with my obsession with these Precious Moments ones. And somebody offered this one up, and it's called, I don't even know what it's called. Out of Egypt? Out of Egypt, I think. And it's Mary and Joseph fleeing to Egypt. Fleeing out of Egypt? Why can't I figure out what exactly? They were in Bethlehem. I thought they fled to Egypt. So anyway, this was them when they left, because the king had put a rule for all the baby boys to be murdered when he heard of the birth of Jesus. And I just thought it was, I don't know if I'll ever stitch it, but I love it so much. I love it, love it, love it. So I bought that one, silly me. And then from Cedar River Linen, I haven't ever tried any of hers, but I saw so many different people talking about it. I think this might have been Jessica, Sweetwater Stitcher. She mentioned this maple bar 40 count fabric from Cedar River Linen, and it just looked so beautiful with what she was stitching that I went and had to get a piece of that. I got just a fat quarter of that, and it is really pretty, you guys. It's really beautiful. That was from Cedar River Linen. And then Vicki Clayton, who hand dyes silks and has been known for that for quite a while, has started dyeing fabrics. And so unbelievably reasonable. I think also I saw this on Jessica, Sweetwater Stitcher. See how I'm enabled, you guys, by so many floss tubers? She had picked up 2 different colors from her. She had picked up Yamp Up and Bird Circles. These are those 2 colors. So Bird Circles is this one. It's really quite dark brown. It's coming across more green on here, but it's not. It's not green, it's brown. So those 2 are beautiful. And so I ordered those right off the bat, but the prices were so much smaller than I'm used to. I wasn't sure what I was getting, and so I didn't dare order anymore until I knew if I thought I had ordered halves, but I didn't know if I was getting samples or exactly what I was getting. So I did get those, and then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go see what some of her other colors look like. So I went back in and I ordered fat quarters of some of her other colors. So this one's called Needs Must. It's a beautiful light tan color. It's always hard to see colors. It's a little darker than what's coming across there. Always kind of hard to get the true color on there. Almost maybe a little taupey, like there might be just a tiny bit of a pink tinge to it. But that's got a little more of a taupey color. And then I ordered Hempen Robe. And this is darker again, but it's not as dark as the other one. It's a little bit more of a, that looks more gray on my screen, but it's actually kind of just a dark brown again. A tiny bit more yellow, a lot more yellow than what it looks like on screen. And this one is called Into the Woods. This is a beautiful sampler color. Oh, cannot get it open. Come on, fella. Oh, for Pete's sake, there we go. Into the Woods. And again, it's picking up a little bit more, a little lighter than what it actually is. Yeah, that doesn't really help getting it into the different focus. It's a little darker than what that picture shows, but a beautiful sampler color. And then I wanted to see what some of her lighter colors looked like. So I picked up 3 of them. One of them's called Invert Basin. The other is called Dairy Air. And the last one is called the Windleys. And I'm gonna hold them up together. So Invert Basin turned out to be really quite, they all are quite yellow in color. I don't know if that shows up very well to you guys. Invert Basin is this bottom one, and that one I think has the most yellow to it, like a buttery yellow. And then the second one is Dairy Air. That's probably the lightest, and that one has almost more of a cream color to it. And then this one on top is called the Windleys, and this one has more of a straw color. A little bit more of a straw color to it. So those are the 3. So I just wanted to show those to you guys in case anyone was interested in trying out her new fabrics. And I may give some of those away, I'm not sure. I don't love the yellower ones because I'm such a tan person. I really just love tan. So we'll see. We'll see if I decide to give those away down the road. Okay, I gotta grab my notes. I did a giveaway last time. It was gonna be Go Tell It on the Mountain, this pattern by Annie the Proper Stitcher. And this was a fundraiser for people in North Carolina. And the winner of this one is Debbie Morrison 6846. Congratulations, Debbie. If you would send me your mailing address, I will go ahead and get this sent out to you. Just send the address either to my Instagram, message me on Instagram, or send me an email. And both of those will be in the notes at the bottom of this video. So congratulations to Debbie. And then I have to ask you guys what I should do. Nobody claimed my bag. The winner never got hold of me. And so I'm thinking about redrawing, but I think I'm going to just redraw it from comments on this video. So I'm going to throw it back into the mix, and anybody else that is interested in receiving this project bag, and if you haven't seen this before, this was my own creation. This is a vinyl project bag, but I made it with a pocket inside so that you can separate your pattern from your linen and from your floss so that the pattern doesn't get stuck to the vinyl on the front. So anybody that wants this one, we're gonna have you put in, I think I used Dragonfly, all one word, D-R-A-G-O-N-F-L-Y, Dragonfly. So if you guys are interested in winning this, it's still here. So just use Dragonfly in your comment, and I will give this one away on my next video. Okay, did I forget anything? The only other thing that I spent a lot of time on this past month, gotta stretch my legs again, guys. I was watching Darlene Dion, her Flosstube video, and she was showing the houses that she had done from Pinker and Punkin. And she has a blog. If you guys have not heard of her, she has all these free like salt box-ish style houses on her blog. They can be a little bit hard to find. So Darlene created a link to all of the houses, and if you guys go to her last video, you can either request it as a comment or in the notes. I think she has an email address and you can request the houses, but she has stitched a bunch of them. And so I spent a lot of time converting these patterns to PDF and then also saving them to my X Stitch, which is my organization for my charts and for my linens and for my threads. I haven't utilized it a ton yet, but I'm trying to slowly get my entire inventory of my patterns in there so that I stop buying duplicates, because I'm really bad about that. So I encourage you to also go watch Darlene Dion Designs. I will try to link some of the people that I've talked about in my video at the bottom, like in the notes at the end. So if you want to go jump in and see Evertotes, or if you want to go in and see Darlene Dion, or if you want to see finishes by Handmade by Sarah W., I'll try to link all of those guys and all their channels in my comments at the bottom of this, okay? So I think that's everything, you guys. I hope this isn't so long. We'll find out when I edit it how long it's going to be. But I just wanted to encourage you for my blessing moment this time. I thought it would be really fun to get to know your neighbors. If you live in a city, just in our fast-paced world, we don't always take the time to get to know our neighbors. And I was watching James Woods. He did an interview during the California fires in the Palisades, and he was talking about how there was an elderly man that lived next door who had some dementia, and he had gotten left behind. And he said, unless you know your neighbors, he had told the paramedics, you need to do a well check. And they went in and they didn't find him. He says, he's in the back room. He sits in the sunroom. And sure enough, they went into the back room and there he was all by himself. His caregiver had been evacuated and they had told her they would come back for him. And I think in the chaos, he hadn't. no one had gone back for him. And so because he knew his neighbor and he knew his habits, he was able to send someone back for him. Here I go. And saved his life, because he said an hour later that house was gone. So if someone hadn't gone back for him, they would have lost him. So I want to encourage everybody just to take the opportunity to get to know your neighbors, either by baking a dozen cookies, or doing a little friendship gift basket, or if they're new, welcome them to the neighborhood, or invite your neighbor out for coffee. But I just wanted to encourage you to go out into the world, you guys. Be a light. What did I write down for my parting words? I have to write everything down. For my parting words, I just wanted to remind you guys to be kind. It's easy to forget that sometimes in the rat race and the hustle and bustle of our world. It's just so important to be kind and to just send God's love and light out into the world. When you have His love and His light in your heart, you can't leave it there. You have to share it. We have to send it out into the world. So I just wanted to encourage you guys all to do that in some shape or form or way sometime this year, or over the next month until I see you again. So I wish you guys all the best. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. Please like and subscribe and comment. Love your comments, you guys. They mean the world to me. They really, really do. So I wish you all the best, and until I see you next time, take care. Bye.